The year 2025 marks a very important milestone for the Pensions and Insurance Authority. We celebrate 2 decades of pensions and insurance regulation, 2 decades safeguarding lives, building confidence, and shaping the growth of the two industries. From humble beginnings, the Pensions and Insurance Authority has grown from a team composition of 19 to an establishment of 111. Through the years, PIA has been guided by visionaries from the late Mr. Chris M. Mapipo, who laid the foundations on which the authority stands today. Before transitioning into a body corporate in 2005, PIA operated as an office under the Ministry of Finance, laying the groundwork for what would become a cornerstone of the pensions and insurance sector in Zambia.
At the time that I was with the authority, I did join the authority prior to the authority being established as an independent body. I must say that the provision of the law that actually made the authority to be independent and stood out as a regulator is one of the things that was quite important to do to ensure that the industry, both the insurance and the pensions industry, are regulated and supervised in a manner that is acceptable. And so I think the provision or the enactment of the 2005 legislation is quite important. And after that enactment, a number of things happened in industry. And the law actually enabled industry to establish a number of other entities that could not have been if the law was not in place.
An exciting moment during that time when we were renting. It also helped us to realize that we needed to save to have our own building, which later in 2014 we had acquired a building in the hearts of Lusaka and Rotspark, and where we pride ourselves that we have our own building. And I think it's a great achievement, and this has actually given us a lot of commitment that we are indeed here to serve for the public.
The mandate of PIA has always been clear: to regulate, supervise, and protect the interests of pension scheme members and insurance policyholders, as outlined in the Pension Scheme Regulation Act No. 28 of 1996, amended by Act No. 27 of 2005, and the Insurance Act No. 38 of 2021.
The current strategic focus of the Pensions and Insurance Authority is based on the main focus, which is protection of policyholders and members of pension schemes.
In the past 20 years, Zambia's pensions and insurance sector has experienced remarkable transformation, a true reflection of consistent regulation, innovation, and steady supervision by PIA. The pensions industry has expanded from 207 registered private pension schemes in 2005 to 247 in the year 2025, with membership now exceeding 168,000. The pension's net assets currently stand at approximately 24 billion kwacha. The insurance industry has also recorded growth, with insurance companies currently standing at 33 from 8 insurers in 2005. Reinsurance companies have also increased from 1 to 5, while brokers have increased from 36 to 81. The biggest growth has been the number of insurance agents that have increased to 773 from 36 in the year 2005.
When you look at where we're coming from in 2005, first of all, we were literally a compliance-based, supervisor in terms of our approach. But with time, we had to evolve and then respond to the emerging issues in the markets that we supervise. So we've now taken on a different character. We call ourselves a risk-based supervisor. And through that, we've seen that we've been able to effectively supervise the entities. Another key achievement that I can speak to is that we've been very deliberate and bold in terms of driving the growth of the market. I think you'll agree with me that when we started out, we haven't seen the exponential growth that we've seen in the market, but now we've been very deliberate. We respond to national policies such as the National Financial Inclusion Strategy, And we're really at the table where discussions are happening and policies are being formulated. So I think from that point of view, I would say we've been very bold. We've also been very agile. I know that it's something that usually regulators are not associated with. But yes, we've been very agile. We've allowed the market to test products. I think one of the key issues I can refer to is the fact that we have microinsurance, products that have been in the market from as far back as 2009, if I can recall, when we started the conversation around the technical advisory group on microinsurance, where we allowed players to test out products. This is, against the fact that we do not have, an approved regulatory framework. And so I think we have been agile as a supervisor. We've allowed entities to evolve. We've allowed them to really innovate and be able to save the market effectively.
From a regulatory perspective, several key reforms have taken place, all aimed at strengthening the two sectors. From 2005, the authority has continued to enhance the regulatory and supervisory framework to promote stability, transparency, and growth within the pensions and insurance sector.
When it comes to the management of pension schemes, the governance aspect really is very important, because once you drop the ball in that area, then it means that the appropriate oversight and the decisions that are made around investments can ultimately affect the benefits that members realize. So we've been very intentional. We started off with a flagship program, which we're still running, and this is a trustees training. You will note that the PIA, when we started out, we were literally doing it as an in-house program using our own resources. But over the years, we then realized that it is something that we have to be able to, develop to a level where we'll be comfortable in terms of the information that trustees have, the capacities and the skills that the trustees have to make the informed decision. And so we did then take a bold decision to then develop a certification program. So we now have a trustees program, which we work with partnership with the Zambia College of Pensions and Insurance Trust. And through this program, we've seen that it's been able to respond to the gaps that are there.
In 2021, the insurance industry experienced a major shift following the enactment of Act No. 38 of 2021 that introduced a number of progressive provisions, including a new solvency framework and the introduction of microinsurance as an independent branch of insurance business alongside general and long-term insurance. The 2021 Act focuses on strengthening financial position of the insurance industry, making it more competitive and stable. In line with its commitment to consumer protection, PIA has issued a number of guidelines, including corporate governance guidelines, the key fact statement guidelines, and the treating customers fairly guidelines, ensuring greater transparency, accountability, and fairness in claims and complaint handling. The country is also currently undergoing pension reforms aimed at strengthening the industry and making it more inclusive. Together, these milestones underscore a journey of transformation, one marked by growth, resilience, and the continuous strengthening of Zambia's pensions and insurance landscape.
I believe that the insurance and pensions industry that we want to see is one that is able to respond to the needs of the customers. We have seen the emerging risks that are there in the market, so the insurance entities should be able to respond to those risks by designing appropriate products. And so from a supervisory point of view, we are allowing the entities to innovate, and really our message has been innovate, 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 so that these entities can then meet the needs of the customers. On the pension side, we look forward to see a number of Zambians covered in some form of social security or pensions, because as you know, that everybody gets to, step out of their active life. The time comes when you step off your active life. And so we want to see many Zambians actively saving for their retirement.
PIA, as one of the financial sector regulators, plays a key role in supporting government's agenda in promoting financial inclusion. As a member of various financial working groups, PIA has played an active role in implementing government policy, including the National Financial Inclusion Strategy and National Strategy on Financial Education.
A few years ago, if you had to go in public spaces, especially markets, It was almost a taboo, for instance, to talk about life insurance, funeral insurance. But now people are now accepting the message. They are seeing the benefits that are happening in communities. For instance, when there's a funeral for someone who had a funeral insurance, they've seen that the burden is lighter for the family, and therefore they are more accepting of the message. And that is coming from the work that we have put in terms of sensitizing members of the public on the importance of insurance.
No regulator works in isolation. And over the past 20 years, the authority has built a legacy of collaboration through strategic partnerships with government, industry associations, corporation partners, regional and local regulators.
We have the primary objective, which is split into two: monetary policy, which is price stability, and financial system stability. Now, the financial stability aspect is really where our path join, because without financial stability, even monetary policy would be very difficult to achieve its objectives. So, in short, the Bank of Zambia Act makes it mandatory for us to work together with institutions that are contributing to the stability of the financial system, and the PIA is one such institution.
What we have noted from a banking sector perspective is that in these past 20 years, and more so now, the regulatory framework has really strengthened from strength to strength. And from where we sit, it's so important, because at the end of the day, we are all part of the same ecosystem. Having a regulator that is engaging, which is what the authority has really been to us as a banking sector, and also having a regulator that is looking at continued progress is very important. And these are some of the things that we have noted from a Bankers Association perspective.
Reflecting on the past 20 years that the authority has been in office, there are a lot of positives that have been achieved, but I think the number one is the amendment of the Act to come up with the Insurance Act number 38 of 2021, which has provided for empowerment of brokers, local brokers especially, where the minimum shareholding, Zambian minimum shareholding, is set at 51%. So it means when investors come, they want to set up, they have to engage with Zambians or partner with Zambians, and the Zambians will have to be the majority shareholder. The Zambian, it can be split amongst the number of Zambian shareholders, but the total Zambian shareholding, minimum 51%. The same act also has guidelines and regulations which have set a certain direction for the industry.
PIA is advancing gender inclusion, innovation, financial literacy, and market growth in the sector. These partnerships stand as a testament of what can be achieved through shared purpose and collective vision.
The PIA is really part of the broader financial ecosystem, and certainly we do not work alone. We do collaborate very closely with other financial sector regulators, and namely the Bank of Zambia and the Securities and the Exchange Commission.
We've crafted what we call the Capital Markets Master Plan. This is a 10-year strategic plan meant to further develop the capital markets. So one of the thematic areas that we see in the Capital Markets Master Plan is the innovation of new and innovative products. We can't run away from the fact that the world is changing. The way services are provided is being impacted by technology, and in that you get to see a lot of products coming through. So we see, for instance, exchange-traded funds. We see real estate investment trust coming online, not just the plain vanilla shares and bonds, as it were.
The other positives include promotion of digitalization of operations. Now it's a global trend. Everyone works with the internet. If you don't have digital systems, it becomes very difficult to do business. And insurance it's a global product. So you are dealing with outside partners. They are all on digital platforms. So the encouragement by the PIA for the stakeholders, for the brokers to also be online has brought a lot of improvement.
I think what sticks out is collaboration. As a regulator, they've been very open to receive feedback from the industry. They listen to what the industry is saying, and they explain their position. They are hard when they have to be, soft when it requires them to be. And a good example to use is the enactment of the new Insurance Act, number 38 of 2021. That came out really out of the industry reaching out to the regulator to say we want change.
The Bank of Zambia Act again, in section 32, does establish the Financial Stability Committee. This is the first time that we have had this committee established by statute. And composition of that committee includes PIA. So the CEO or the registrar of PIA is a member of that committee. So when we meet, which we do on a regular basis, we review the risks and the vulnerabilities in the financial sector.
There's a lot of room that has been created in there to ensure that pension scheme service providers have latitude to innovate, and a lot of input has come in from them in that space, ensuring that we're able to perhaps also further inclusion in terms of pension.
In 2024, we launched the Bima Lab Accelerator program here in Zambia in partnership with the PIA. The Bima Lab Accelerator works to build the insurance protection gap in Africa by supporting insurtechs to develop innovative solutions.
As supervisors to the emerging issues that are happening, and we come up with some form of a common framework that entities can be able to align with. I think we all understand that most of our entities do not only operate in one market. You are really talking about entities that are cutting across different jurisdictions, and it's important that as supervisors we can align the requirements, the regulatory frameworks, the supervisory framework, so that entities then can seamlessly operate across the different jurisdictions. And PIA is an active member of those regional community engagements.
Over the years, the authority has faced its share of storms, with the liquidation of 4 insurance companies, global economic shocks, and the unprecedented disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic. The authority has stood firm. To protect the interest of policyholders in the event of failure by an entity, the Insurance Fidelity Fund was established. This mechanism has further reinforced consumer protection and strengthened confidence in the insurance industry.
The board of the Pensions and Insurance Authority is currently focused on the key issue of protection of policyholders and members of pension.
Today, the authority stands stronger than ever, with a staff establishment of 111 led by Registrar CEO Mrs. Namakau Ntini, continuing the mission to regulate, supervise and protect Zambia's pensions and insurance sector. The PIA remains focused on strengthening supervision, enhancing industry stability, promoting innovation and enhancing consumer protection across the pensions and insurance sector. Additionally, the strategic plan highlights the importance of digital transformation, market development, and increased stakeholder engagement. Through this strategy, PIA continues to align its operations with national priorities while fostering a stable and transparent environment.
The Pensions and Insurance Authority Board is very, very keen in ensuring that we deal with customer complaints in a manner that is efficient, a manner that allows for complaints to be handled in the quickest possible time. And this all falls into some of the regulations which were put in place relating to treating customers fairly. These are the key stakeholders in these two industries. Therefore, we are determined to ensure that the framework we've put in place for complaint handling, for treating customers fairly, are efficient and such that our stakeholders do not get frustrated.
Everyone is talking about digitalization, AI, and so it's important to get the authority move in that direction.
As the authority celebrates 2 decades of service, it looks forward to the next 20 years of growth, innovation, and impact. The journey ahead will build on a foundation of trust, resilience, and excellence that has been carefully cultivated over the past 20 years. Emerging technologies, evolving financial markets, and increasing public awareness present both opportunities and challenges. The authority is poised to harness innovation, strengthen regulatory frameworks, and expand financial literacy to ensure that pensions and insurance continue to safeguard the dreams and livelihoods of every Zambian. The next chapter is not just about numbers and compliance. It's about empowering individuals, supporting the pensions and insurance sector, and shaping a financial landscape that is secure, inclusive, and forward-looking.
It's a big one. Congratulations for having made the mark.
Looking at the industry and how it has evolved from the 1960s to the 2000s and now beyond, I'm excited to see what the future holds for the pensions and insurance industry.
I think for over 2 years and even more, whenever we are even just launching Financial Literacy Week in Zambia, and we do this every first quarter of the year, there we are hand in hand with the PIA, right? This year we did it in Mazambuka. We were with the PIA. They had stands there. We had insurance companies also selling their products and willing to speak to people about that. So it shows that the partnership is good, the partnership is strong, and the partnership can only get stronger.
It's definitely been a great 20 years.
I would like to say a big congratulations to PIA for marking 20 remarkable years of really developing and transforming Zambia's insurance industry.